It's the year 1955, and a child was born. And that child happened to grow up to be one of the worst rated stock pickers in history. In fact, he was paid handsomely for years and years and years to give out terrible stock advice. And that's who we're talking about today, the man that ruined millions of lives and millions of portfolios. And his name is Jim Cramer.
Do I think I'm the drama? No, I don't think I'm the drama. Maybe I'm the drama.
Now, a little backstory of the guy, so that way you don't think that he's just a complete lunatic or he's dumb. He actually graduated from Harvard, one of the most prestigious schools in all of the world. So why is he so freaking bad at picking stocks? Is it intentional? Well, going back, I found that it wasn't all doom and gloom from the get. Let me explain. So in 1984, he worked at Goldman Sachs because that was the place to be as a stock investor at the time.
He's the best.
Now, he did quit Goldman Sachs about 3 years later to start his own hedge fund because he thought he could do a lot better than what they were doing at Goldman Sachs. And of course, it's difficult to find out if these claims are 100% true because they weren't independently verified, but this is some of the stuff I dug up about Jim Cramer's history. Cramer, in an interview, claimed that he was able to predict one of the biggest crashes in history. Apparently, he sold all of his stocks on Friday, which was a business day before Black Monday, which was a crash that happened in 1987. He also made the claim that he only had 1 year of negative returns. And in 1998, a lot of people actually had fled the fund for the fact that the S&P 500 during that year rose 29%. Meanwhile, his fund was actually negative, which makes you think, was he really that good to begin with? He's one of the few stock pickers that actually admitted to market manipulation. Here's what he said in a 2006 interview. This was a part of a segment where they were talking about how hedge fund managers can manipulate the stock market a little bit, some of which were kind of debatable in terms of legality, and others were definitely illegal. In this interview, he described how he could push stocks higher or lower with as little as $5 million in capital when he was running his hedge fund. Cramer also said that a lot of times when I was positioned short, meaning I needed it to go down, I would create a level of activity beforehand that could drive the futures. He also encouraged hedge funds to engage in this type of activity because it is a very, very quick way to make money. Now, he said that everything he did was above the books and technically legal at the time. He also stated that not him, but other hedge fund managers would spread false rumors to drive stocks down. Another quote from the man himself was, "What's important when you are in that hedge fund mode is to not do anything remotely truthful, because the truth is so against your view. So that is why it's so important to create a new truth, aka to develop a fiction." And then he kind of went back on his words and said that even though some of the practices that they were doing is technically illegal, it was also easy to do because the SEC just didn't understand it. During that same interview, he also called himself the banking class hero. Can you believe this guy? He's like literally the Homelander of the banking world. And get this, okay? During 2007 and 2008, which was one of the worst financial crises we've ever had in history, where bank stocks either got hammered or literally went out of business, Cramer was recommending the same stocks that literally went under. Here are some of his top picks. He wanted people to buy companies like Bear Stearns, Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, and yes, the infamous Lehman Brothers. And if you're unfamiliar with some of those names, that's okay, because those companies just don't exist. Out of the thousands of companies that were on the market at that time, he literally couldn't have picked any worse stocks. But let's take a look at some of the more recent stock picks that Jim Cramer really wants you to buy. On the screen here is his Netflix buy tweet, which was on January 3rd at around 9 a.m. 3 months after, you'd be down over 42% and over 80% on the year. Lovely, Jim. And to get a little bit more science-y with you guys, I want to show you this. This is the S&P 500 versus Jim Cramer's picks. Now, as you can see, he was doing pretty well for the time, but this is also comparing just a broad index fund versus a stock picker that should be able to beat out the fund. And he couldn't even do just that. I thought it'd be really interesting to also look at this, which is his wonderful performance as a stock picker. And what I love about this is that he couldn't even get ranked with at least 1 star. Come on, Jim. You're telling people how to invest on one of the biggest news networks in America, and this is your stock picker rating? Ouch. My favorite part about this picture is that his ranking is literally 82,531 out of 86,000 people. I mean, if this was a game of golf, you'd be a real winner there, bud. But in case you needed more proof that he's really terrible at picking stocks, here are some more of his more recent picks. But don't worry, if you were thinking, oh, those numbers look really, really good, some of those stocks are actually down even more, 80 to 90%. If you count where they went to in terms of lows. So why do people actually listen to him? Well, to be honest with you, a lot of the internet has been calling him out and actually have been doing the opposite of what he says, which has made people some decent returns. But I'd love to hear what you think of this guy. Any certain picks that you chose because of him and either made you or lost you money, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you, especially if you've ever made money, because obviously that's really hard to do, so especially those. And if you like content like this, make sure to smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and I hope to see you guys in the next episode. Thank you all so much for watching. Peace out.